Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
There we are, a little trout. Fish on. Found a little hole here. Cold day. Got Joe and Luke Simons, like diamonds. Yeah, and we've just been kind of scouting around. Lost one. We're trying to find some wind protected areas here. If any of you who have fished this year so far, it's been a cold and windy year all over the place, not just here in Florida. Our friends in Texas, got a couple of co-workers in Texas, and they're just like, man, it's just been brutal.
But cold is not bad. I used to think that a cold snaps would just turn the fish off and the fish had lockjaw, and I just wouldn't go fishing. And now it's actually some of my favorite times to fish, because once you find them, they're going to be a bunch of them in one little pocket. So we found a pocket of trout here. I already caught two before we started, and there we are. But it's all about knowing where those fish are likely going to be, and then taking a small jig and working it slow through there, like right there. Like right there, just hooked up. It's small and slow is the name of the game. And we can likely just sit here and catch fish after fish. Here's another little trout.
There we go. Oh,
the prior one, let me make sure we back away from the spot. The prior one was probably about 18 inches, it was a nice one. This one's gonna be a little bit smaller. Should I turn that trollmeter off?
I would say,
snag this guy.
I would also say slow and low, not just small. Yeah, you did. There we go. Oh, it came up right there. Trout on demand, TOD. But what I've been seeing in the insider report, it seems like there's half the group is crushing it so far. Oops, quick release. The other half is struggling. And when we ask questions a lot of times on, all right, tell us about the day, like where were you? And they're usually actually in a pretty good spot. So with smart fishing spots, that's going to help get you in the spot, but you still have to fish it correctly. And we've had days too, right, Luke? Like we could have someone here with us and they wouldn't be catching anything because like we had that one gentleman, he's like, oh, I'm using the skinny lipper. I'm like, well, if we could use the skinny lipper in this spot right here all day long and never catch a single fish. So much of it is knowing what lure or bait to use, what rig to use, what weight to use. In this case, all these hits have been happening on the bottom. You watch our rod tips, we're waiting until we feel it hit the bottom, and then we're popping it up.
Yeah, and we're literally, the lure hits bottom in between every twitch. That's the key. We're literally bouncing on the bottom. There's zero chance that our lures are rising up. The fish are cold right now. They're not going to be aggressive, but we know where they are. We know they're here. We know they're not aggressive, and if we just dangle a nice looking meal in front of their face, they just can't help but to eat it. They think it's an injured shrimp that they, again, just predator instinct, they hit. Even if they're not super hungry, they'll still take a swipe at it.
And there's a little hole right here. So if you're watching, listening, I just got to hit it there. Something swiped at. There we go. Oh man. Yeah, you can almost feel your lure as soon as it gets in this deeper spot. There it is.
Yeah, I saw your twitch.
Well, that's a nicer one there.
Yeah, no telling how many are actually down there. And again, this is, although yes, the fish aren't spread around like summer, so they're a little bit tougher to find, but as long as you just focus on finding the deep spots, and we have this 1 foot contour layer on our smart fishing spots map, that has been the biggest game changer.
Nice looking little trout there.
Yeah, saw a little guy there. But that's been the biggest game changer for me as far as finding the wintertime honey holes, because what happens in the winter, right, that cold air is impacting the water. It impacts the shallows much more than the deep. So a 3 foot flat that's awesome during the summer is going to be terrible during the winter, because that 3 feet of water all gets super cold. What you want to find is like this spot, it's probably about 10 feet right here. It's close to some shallows, but this is nice and deep. There's still a lot of structure around. We have mangroves lined up around. Some of the mangroves are falling in the water. But right now, the fact that it's cold, they're off the shoreline, and I don't even feel any structure down there.
No.
Joe's weedless, I'm not getting snagged in this fish.
Quarter ounce, I'm using the Haas weedless football jig on this Power Prawn, or the Prawn Junior. And Luke, you have a 1/4 ounce.
Yeah, I have the round eye jig, the 1/4 ounce round eye.
We're both catching fish.
Yep.
But yes, you can almost feel it as soon as it goes down this little ledge into this hole. It's go time. They're all just sitting down there hunkered down. But if we weren't hitting the bottom, we would not be catching fish. That's why it's so incredible. As you mentioned a lot of times, depth control, right?
Depth control is huge.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, again, people that have been struggling lately, they're using either top water or floating plugs that just dive down a little bit, popping corks too. Yes, they're great during the warmer months, but in the winter, anything that's keeping the lure off the bottom, I just had one right there. Anything that's keeping the lure off the bottom is going to hinder your results in most cases, especially during and right after cold fronts.
And I have days when it gets really cold where I let it sit there, and obviously we always put Dr. Juice on there as well. And I'm in the hole right now and just kind of letting it pop and sit there. It's amazing how well this can work.
And we were actually on our way back to, there's a tarpon spot that I have that's further back in this creek system. And we're on our way back and saw there's a bird right up underneath these trees, and then we saw some mullet up on the surface. So, okay, there's bait here. I knew that there was a hole because I did my research on this canal system. And we had bait nearby. We knew there was a hole and there's a bird, so if I might as well try this. I've actually never fished this spot before, and again, it was the right conditions all aligned, and so thought, okay, this should be a good spot. So we're probably like a half dozen trout in the green right now.
I'm having some just swipe it right down below,
right below us.
Yeah,
oh,
and we're in an area where we have 3 different little systems all meeting together. Maximize your structure. Maximize.
And why there's the hole too is we have a little creek. So there's the main canal system right here, and then a creek that is entering it.
It's a
right
creek
in
or
front of
creek?
us. I call it a creek.
What do you think, Joel? There's some country song recently I heard in Crick. Name that song. Joel,
You got me.
You don't listen to country? Oh, I don't like that new stuff. I'm not. If it's not Garth, I'm not listening to it.
And so what's going to happen is once we fish this spot out, which might be at the point, it's basically all shallow further around, and so we're going to have to really shoot down further back and find the next hole. This isn't like somewhere you can go fish long shorelines and catch fish all across a large span. It's going to be pockets of fish. And as soon as I started thinking about that and just isolating the pockets and not wasting my time on the areas that don't make sense, my wintertime catch rate has skyrocketed. I now catch more fish per hour in the winter than I do any other season, because once you find a good pocket, you can catch a bunch of fish. I kind of messed up here where before we started, I let the boat go up over the spot, so I'm sure I spooked them.
Well, they won't go too far.
We'll see if we push them out this way. It is a little bit
deeper. They're just like humans. I like to be comfortable, and they found a comfortable little hole over here. So they will come back. But yeah, another important lesson on...
I just had one up here.
Boat and or kayak positioning. And this is a cool area too. I mean, you could see we got shoreline right here. Saw a truck go by here a second ago. There's a couple little openings. This is an area that you can fish from shore. And very soon, depending on when you're listening to this, we have a new land-based layer coming to Smart Fishing Spots. Ooh. Very highly requested, highly anticipated. Oh, I just got a hit there too. Land-based feature where you can now hit a map layer and it'll start showing you all the public land areas that you can fish. And then the next step will be putting actually smart spots in there as well. But just as a start, I mean, we've already seen some areas where we're pretty familiar with that we had no idea were public lands, like government-owned lands that you could legally go there and fish. This is going to really open up a lot of new opportunities for people.
Yeah, we have a lot of members.
There must be ladyfish down here, so I'm just getting...
I'm getting smacked too. Oh, I just had them. Yeah, we have a lot of members who just fish from shore and who wade fish, and that's going to be a great benefit to them. A lot of people think that they kind of get, I don't have a boat, I don't have a kayak, I really don't have a chance to saltwater fish, I might as well not try. If you know how to pick the good spots, the wade fishermen catch the most fish, because when you're by foot, you don't get pulled over the fish like we did earlier where we spooked a bunch. The bigger, smarter fish have less idea that a wade fisherman's there compared to somebody in a big boat. So wade fishing, like Wader Dave, we have some members who just fish by land only, and they catch the biggest fish most consistently.
Yeah, I mean, the Speckled Truth, if you guys don't know him, he's got a great podcast. He only talks about speckled trout. And his dad has caught, I don't know, with 40,000 documented trout or some crazy number.
Let's see what
we get out of the way of you there so we don't tangle up.
Got something out in the middle. Let's see what this one is.
But they do wade fishing. Sometimes, yes, they use a boat to go to a spot, but they can get out as soon as they can. Another trout.
This little guy, this is a little sand trout. A different little species.
Let me see.
Or actually, I can't remember the name of this kind is. Leave a comment down below. I can't remember that.
I don't know either.
It's not a sand perch.
Snook candy.
Yeah. Not sure what that is. But again, these fish just naturally, of all species, they're just naturally going to gravitate towards the deep pockets of these canals, or really any sort of creek or canal system, whatever the deepest water they can find. And so we're just slow bouncing jigs through here. We'd probably be catching a lot more if we had a nub lure. But those things are probably what was hitting us earlier.
I definitely had ladyfish in mind.
But yeah, years ago, I would have never even considered fishing the middle of a canal like this. Oh, there's a trout. Yeah, I would have never even considered fishing just out in the middle in a deep section. I would only fish, popping corks under mangroves. I did great during the summer. Yeah, we caught a lot of fish during the summer, and the winter we just gave up because we thought it was a lost cause. And here we're getting a good trout bite, and we'll very likely get onto some tarpon in the next couple spots.
So we did an email Christmas Day and just asked for feedback, and there was quite a few people who mentioned catching their first tarpon. What are your tips here?
Tarpon is basically keep going further, and if you want to catch tarpon, like in juvenile tarpon are the easiest because you can catch them all year long, but basically just go further back into whatever creek system you can find, go beyond the point where you're catching any snook or redfish, and the tarpon will oftentimes be there. So we're going to go the very far end of this canal system and hopefully find some tarpon. Or in the summertime, after a bunch of rainfall, those tarpon will flush out. Because why they go back there is they can handle low salinity water, so they can get back in the far stretches of creeks where only small bait fish can thrive. But tarpon can be there. They're basically the only big fish. They're like the only predators there, and because they can get they gulp air, so they can basically survive in very low oxygen water.
Ooh, there's another little hole right here we just found.
I just missed a few bites on that cast. These are probably those little perch things.
Oh, man, there are a bunch of them down there. It's so much fun though. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Yeah, and the key for the retrieve is basically just to bump it just off the bottom. We want it to look like a scared shrimp just darting off the bottom and then letting it glide back down. So as that hit, so we bump it up and then hold it. That way, instead of the lure going straight down, which isn't natural, the lure glides back down, and that glide is when we get the strikes. So bump it, pause, feel the strike, bump it, pause, feel the strike, or feel it hit the bottom, and then just do it over and over again. And if there's fish down there, they're going to hit it. Again, this is surprisingly effective for a variety of species. This is what I do. I do the same exact retrieve out on the reefs when I was getting those overslot snook and cobia, and one red was over 40 inches. This exact same retrieve, same lure. I would just use the bigger version of it. And back to tarpon too, because we didn't really cover the lures. Oh, there we go. Slam Shady 2.0. Little small trout.
Yeah, my favorite lure for juvenile tarpon is this right here. The Prawn Junior. They like small stuff.
Yep.
And for tarpon though, different retrieve for tarpon, they like a straight retrieve. So when I'm seeing tarpon rolling, I don't do any twitches. It's just a straight glide.
Look at all that bait down there.
Yeah, this is a solid little spot. Let's see if those trout up here calm down yet. Yeah, we can do a separate one of tarpon here after this spot, but
and go after the juveniles if it's your first one.
Yeah.
Don't, like, even full-time guides. Like, we have a bunch of guides that do tarpon fishing, and they get frustrated by it. You might wait the entire day, 6-8 hours, to get one bite. And right, we've been around them some days. Some days we catch them in accident. We're going after Kobe or something else. And you'll have days where they're literally just daisy chaining around you. They're circling around you and they won't touch anything. Whereas those juvenile ones back in like little creek mouth or something like that, you'll see them rolling. You can usually get one of those to hit as long as you don't spook the heck out of them.
Yeah, for the juveniles, I used to struggle with them because I would be throwing big paddle tails at them, and I'll try the twitch and retrieve. And for the juveniles, it's just a straight retrieve, and if they don't hit the prawn junior as it is, I take off about 1.5 inches of it, where it's the nub. And that's caught a ton.
And try the same shady, the 2.0. I like that one personally. I've always had luck with the white lures. Switch it up. I'm still getting a bunch of little hits, but they're all small.
Yeah, I think there's these little small little perch.
But this is great. I mean, like I said, we weren't even going to fish this spot, and that's why it's so important just to keep your eyes open. Regardless if you're in a boat or a kayak or whatever, we were going to a whole different area, and we happened to see some bait popping and saw a bird on the shore. We're like, and looked on Smart Fishing Spots and saw there was a little bit of a deeper hole here. Summertime, probably not the best spot. Wintertime, high up.
And yeah, if you are looking for tarpon, getting out early and just getting up in these little creeks and just look, they roll, they go up air. So look for any sort of rolling activity. And once you find that, that's when you really want to start fishing after them. Otherwise, just keep moving. They have to roll fairly frequent.
Golly.
Getting smacked.
There we go. Oh. I would love to take the underwater camera down here, man.
Yeah.
See how many fish are down here.
Yeah, and so we'll just to prove a point, we'll go up a little ways. I believe it's all shallower up here, so we probably won't catch as many.
You're going to prove a point you're going to catch fish?
Yeah, but I mean, it's basically all the fish are isolated right in this little pocket where it's about a foot or two deeper than everywhere else.
Prove my number one fear in the world, not catching fish. Unbelievable. Speaking of twitch, got a new twitch bait we've been working on for since 2022, I think.
Oh, I just disproved my point.
Oh, got a little bit more weight to it?
Yeah, this might be a redfish or something here.
Oh, I just got.
Oh no, I just snagged. Looks like I snagged another one. Feel a lot heavier when you're bringing it in the opposite way. Oh.
Yeah, there are stacked down there. I'm not even twitching, and they're just hammering this thing. Got caught up in your line?
No, I snagged him a little bit there. Yeah, the thing is, they're just not super hungry. They're just kind of getting mad and reacting to it. And
yeah,
my open hook is snagging them.
I got nailed. Yeah, so much fun. Anyhow, twitch lure, Luke, coming.
Yeah, twitch lure coming out soon. That'll be good for this type of fishing as well. It's around 4 inches. So for that, I would that type of lure is great for this. I would just peel off about 1 inch of it to make a smaller profile. But yeah, the twitch lure is going to be especially good for the warmer months. Once it starts getting warm, like in the spring, to have that lure for prospecting shallow flats. It casts an absolute mile. It's rigged weedless. It can be, they should say, it can be rigged weedless, so you can get through the thickest grass, skipping up under mangroves.
Do you see it replacing like a jerk shad, like Alabama leprechaun?
Yeah, I just think it's better.
For you and your tackle back?
It's better than the split tail.
Why do you say that?
Because the split tails, they just get chewed up too easily by bait, like by little pinfish and stuff. So before you know it, you only have one tail, and now it's not symmetrical. It doesn't swim quite as nicely. This one, it's just one mass, and there's not as much for the junk fish to mess up. So it'll swim more naturally, more consistently, which means you'll be catching more fish. Same general premise though. Jerk shads of course still work.
Ooh.
I just find myself not catching as many. I catching more fish with this new twitch than with the traditional jerk styles.
Yeah, we've been working on this forever, just trying to get the size, and the length, how thick it is, make sure we can rig it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, that's another thing with those tails. It just catches the wind. It's like not much mass, and it catches the wind, so it decreases casting distance. Whereas this twitch thing, it's all about business. It's
All about business.
There's less wind resistance, so
It's
it
still
casts
fun.
further.
It's still fun. Business and fun.
There's less stuff for the junk fish
Kind
to
of
mess
like the
up.
tuxedo T-shirt. Formal, but still lets everyone know that you're a fun guy. Shake and bake.
All right, well, I think we're out of the best bite. We should probably wrap it up and go try another spot here.
Well, with that attitude, of course you're probably right. Yeesh.
Don't like wasting time in dead zones.
Right when I got a hit there, you are now officially leaving the 90-10 zone.
Actually, there's another little creek output right here. This might be.
Yeah, but hopefully this was helpful just in terms of, I think the most helpful part is low and slow in the winter time, or anytime the water's cool. And even though here in Florida, we could have a 40-degree day followed by a 75-degree day, the water temp is really what we're talking about. And if the water temp is that cold, I'm pretty sure these fish are warm-blooded. They are going to go find the most comfortable spot relative
There's a little guy.
to what's around them. Oh, look, still catching them.
Yeah, they're just getting smaller.
And they're also going to be down at the very bottom. So if you don't have a lure or bait, shrimp, whatever, that's getting down to the bottom, it's going to be a struggle bus. And we know because we've done that. I mean, we've had podcasts. Remember that one of the very first On the Water podcasts we did, remember?
Yeah.
You were catching all those fish. I was catching nothing. I was like, what's he doing? And he's like, oh, it's because I have...
I had a 1/4-inch jig head. He had an 1/8-ounce jig head.
Yeah, that's small difference. And as soon as I rigged, what happened? I started catching fish.
Yeah, I caught 8 snook to his nothing at first. It was awesome. And I knew what the difference was. I pay attention to the details. Joe didn't notice that I had a heavier jig head. I immediately noticed that he had the 1/8 ounce, which I thought was going to be too light. Did I tell him? Of course not. But yeah, as soon as he switched, he caught a snook. So it wasn't the person.
I was more concerned about what bark's made of. Little Zoolander. Hansel, he's so hot right now. You know Todd. Derelict. All right. So what do you think?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
And go find a little tarpon spot. Cool. Well, hopefully you guys got something out of it. This is our first time back doing a live, unfiltered, unedited On the Water podcast for 2024. Finally, we had one scheduled last week, and if you know, it's just been a kind of a crazy weather. It was way too windy. It wasn't even going to be fun and cold. So this is the first one. Hope you guys like it. We got many, many more. We're going to be doing one, I think, in 2 weeks. In the St. Lucie area, is that right, with Captain Peter Deeks. So one of the goals, too, this year is to go around to some different areas on both coasts and even hit some new states as well, as we have these Salt Strong chapters that have been growing like crazy. We now have one in Alabama and Texas. I believe there's one coming in, I know we got one in Georgia. I can't remember if it's South or North Carolina or both. We're going to have one in those 2 states. And really, really neat. So one of our goals is to get out to these different chapter meetings, go say hi to everyone, thank them, and hopefully do a little fishing in each spot too and document it all. So appreciate you guys big time. If you're not a member of the Insider Club, we have over 50,000 members. And one of my favorite things is the community. And then, of course, we have the app and the tackle discounts and now even the tackle tester program. Yep. A million different reasons that you should join. And, if you don't like it, you can leave at any time. There's no long-term contract or anything. It's just a bunch of anglers helping anglers, regardless if you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced, or if you fish out of a boat or a kayak or wading boots. We got people that can help you out and tips that can help you out.
Yep.
So
you have access to the software to help you find the fish. We have the exclusive fishing lessons to make sure that you catch as many fish as possible when you do find the fish. And then we have tackle discounts to make sure that you're saving money on all the gear that you need. It's all there. And again, these lures are just the Prawn Juniors. These are from our club, and all members save at least 20% off of the lures, lines, rods, accessories, everything but reels. For reels, you get free line spooled up, ready to rock. And just another way we help our members save money.
Yep. and definitely pick up some of these prawns and these Haas. Oh, you got the...
I've got the round eye.
You got the round eye. Interesting.
Yep. It works.
It did work.
Let's see if it worked on tarpon.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.